Guys, it's time once again. Christmas month. You're a little off-centered. Well, not centered, but you know what I mean. Hey guys, it's Joshua Reviews, and as I just said, Christmas. My favorite time. The time I get to dress all festive, have green, red shirts because I do not like wearing red and green unless it's for Christmas. I get to put up cool decorations. And I get to watch a lot of Christmas-themed movies. One of my all-time favorite movies is Home Alone, and I get to watch that every year. But I occasionally like to watch a few movies that are not on my radar, but I actively seek them out because I have to review them for this channel. So what is the first Christmas movie we're going to start off with? Well, if you saw the title on the thumbnail, you know it's going to be The Christmas Tapes. If I haven't already said it, I'm a big found footage guy, and as far as I'm aware, I don't think I've seen a found footage Christmas horror movie. So this caught my eye immediately. But lo and behold, to my surprise, this stars Greg Sestero from The Room. Now, if you don't know what The Room is, look up Tommy Wiseau's The Room. But if you're too lazy, The Room is the movie where this clip is from. Oh, hi, Mark. I did not hit her. It's bullshit. Greg Sestero, the guy who plays Mark, is in this film. And by God, when I heard found footage horror Christmas with Greg Sestero, I was like, I gotta see it. I gotta see it. I didn't have time to check it out last year, and before I knew it, Christmas was over. So I figured, okay, I'll save it for next year. I'll review it next year. So I finally got around to watching it on Tubi because, of course, it was on Tubi. You can find practically anything on Tubi these days. What did I think? What did I like? Okay. I did not go into this expecting Oscar-worthy acting. If you know who Greg Sestero is, he's been in a few films. Not a lot, but he's been in a few. One of which I think it was called Infurious or something like that. It's like another found footage horror film, maybe directed by the same guy who did this film, or guys, and he stars in it as well. He also did Best Friends, Fiends, and of course The Room. Now he's working on his Alien project. So he's been in a few stuff, but not like, he's not he's not as well known as someone like Chris Pratt or Jack Black, you know? Not as well known as those guys. So if you know what his acting is going to be like, then you'll be okay with him in this film, because Greg Sestero is great in this film. I just love his awkward but yet creepy tone. The character he plays is perfect. He is just like so off-putting. Like the minute he enters the scene, you're just like, I don't trust this guy, but you're so like pulled in, you're engaged to what he's doing, and I loved it. I love this character. I forget if he has a name, but he basically is the guy who brings, if I haven't already said it, this movie is an anthology. So it's an anthology horror Christmas found footage. So he basically enters this family's home, and the girl just got a camera for Christmas and she wants to be a director. So I found that relatable. And, you know, the family's acting is all right, but they're not in the film a lot. But Greg Sestero comes in as this, you know, creepy, weird, awkward guy. And he's like, hey, I want you to keep filming. We're going to watch these homemade Christmas movies. And, you know, the girl records it, and we got 4 shorts. The first one intrigued me the most because it's basically about this couple that are going up into the snowy mountains to do a documentary on this scarecrow monster, whatever. I kind of forgot what it was. A little slow. The acting was all right. Like I said, I didn't expect Oscar-worthy acting, but it was all right for what it was. But I think halfway through the short, I immediately just kind of noticed something. It seems like there was a lot of improv in terms of this short, because a lot of them just kind of, there's no direction, I feel like. And I will say, I think that kind of, the ending kind of, you know, yeah, the ending kind of leads me to believe that there was really no direction in terms of like how to progress the story, because at the very end, the Scarecrow comes alive, and I'll just give a little spoiler, because it's just one short. The Scarecrow kills them, and that's it. There's no like build up to it. At least in my opinion, I didn't think there was any build up to it. And a lot of it just kind of felt like padding. And before you know it, the short's over, and you're kind of like, oh, that's the end. Okay. Was weird. On to the next short. The next short is a lot more interesting. The second short is about a father, who wants to record himself delivering himself to his family for Christmas. Why? No idea. He just wants to do it for some reason. And it goes sideways because, of fucking course, the guy that is delivering him in this gigantic box kidnaps him, and this guy and him and his wife, they basically torture him. They basically want to play a Christmas game, and the acting on the two is very hit or miss for me. There's some lines that are really funny and some lines that aren't. This movie is described as a horror comedy anthology, and I mean, the horror is there, but I was never scared. But the comedy in some places is hit or miss. I'll bet there was one funny scene when they're like, okay, you basically have to choose what box you're choosing. And he chooses like, I think it's like 11 or something. She picks the box, and basically the wife has to put lotion on his feet. So you'll either get like a trick or treat of sorts. Like you either get a good box or a bad box. And one of the boxes supposedly contains his freedom, and he only gets like a certain amount of choices to choose on what box to get. So she starts lubing, smoothing his feet, and the acting from the wife character was, I don't know if it was intended to be funny, but it got a big laugh out of me. The way she was just uncomfortably like just rubbing his feet. It was kind of funny, I'm not gonna lie. And then again, just like the first short, it just kind of ends. So, and it ended how I pretty much expected it to. I forget the actor's name. What is the actor's name? He is in it. That was Tubi. He's a more relatively known actor, and he was in this short. If I can find his name, it is okay. I think it's Vernon Wells. Vernon Wells, I think. I think it's Vernon Wells. Okay, Greg Sestero, Vernon Wells, and Dave Sheridan. Sheridan. I'm bad at pronunciations, but he gave a pretty good performance. Occasionally he would kind of slip up here and there, but again, I think there was a lot of improv with this film, but that doesn't matter because it can be very well utilized. But some areas was a little awkward, and not in the funny kind of way, just very like, was that supposed to be scary, funny? I couldn't tell. Then we have the third short, which is really weird, but this is kind of when the film gets surprisingly a lot more entertaining than what I was expecting at this point. So about this part of the film, I was kind of like, but here's where it gets good. The third short is so short and so forgettable, I could honestly just skip it, but I want to address it. It's about this guy who basically is told to deliver a Christmas present to this hotel room, but he has this chip in his head that makes him see ghosts that aren't there, these visions. And it goes by so quick. I was like, wait, we're almost done with the short. What the fuck? This is quick. And it just ends. And it ends so abruptly, I was scratching my head like, well, that was weird. But before I could really register anything, Greg Sestero was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, guys, that was a weird movie." And that got a laugh out of me, I'm not gonna lie. That got a laugh out of me. So this is when my favorite short comes up, because the next short is undoubtedly the best. Paranormal Perry. I know that's probably not what it's called. I think it's called Christmas Spirit, but I don't give a shit. This short was called Paranormal Perry. It's about this couple that are basically moving into a cabin. I don't know if they're moving in it for the holidays or if they're on break or something, but they're moving into this like house cabin of sorts, and they try to put up Christmas decorations, and the girlfriend or wife, she finds this Christmas doll, this ornament, and she she touches it, and it supposedly it's possessed, and paranormal stuff starts happening. So they call on a paranormal expert to take away the spirit, and the actor who plays Paranormal Perry, Dave Sheridan, I don't know how to pronounce that name. I'm so sorry. I think that's who it is. Whoever plays Paranormal Perry, he was the fucking funniest part of this movie. He got some of the biggest laughs out of me. He killed it in the role. He was so awkward, but he knew how to give the right performance and the right emotions at the right time. There'll be like long, awkward pauses where he'll be at the wall and he'll be like he'll like be tapping the wood, and he's like, is this wood? And the wife and husband, or the boyfriend and girlfriend, they'll kind of look at each other like, yeah. And say, you guys ever get morning wood? He's like, what? He's like, wood. What kind of wood is this? Like, what? That's so awkward to say, and it got the biggest laugh out of me. I know that's probably not how he said it or delivered the line, but nonetheless, funniest character in the movie, and all the actors in this short play their characters really good. I like the actors in this short in particular. There are some spots where I think it's a little slow, but this short kept me engaged throughout the entire thing, and the way Paranormal Perry just delivered his lines were so fun. The funniest line in the film is when he finds out that this Christmas ornament is possessed or haunted or something, and he says, "Did you touch this thing? Because if you touch it, then it is attached to you. Like, did you touch it?" And he's like, "Yeah." Then you're attached to it, and he's touching it, he's holding it, and he says, "But wait, then why are you touching it?" And he's like, "Aren't you touching it right now?" And he's like, "Shit, yeah, I'm touching it." That got the biggest laugh out of me, and the ending for this short, while again a little abrupt, got the biggest laugh out of me. Oh my god, this last short was like a 10 out of 10. Loved it. And then the movie again just kind of ends. I think they really just want an excuse to get Greg Sestero in another film. I think they had like a rough idea for like a movie, like, hey, let's do an anthology horror Christmas found footage film, and you know, there were some creative ideas here and there, but nothing crazier out there. But I will say this, the last 30 minutes of the film were easily the best part of the film. I do think the movie's a little too long. It's an hour and 40 minutes. And because I was watching Tubi, it was almost 2 hours. So, you know, take that off a grain of salt. But if I had to rank the shorts individually, I would rank the first short a 5 out of 10. Or, I'm sorry, no. I'm sorry. I'd rank the first short a C+, second short a C, the third short a C-, and this short an A+. So in total, my ranking for this film, or my rating, is going to be a C+. There was a lot I didn't like. Some of the performances were some of the direction was some of the jokes were kind of but the last 30 minutes made up for everything, and there is enough good in here to make me recommend it, but I can't guarantee everyone will like it. So take that for a grain of salt. I'm sorry this review was a little long, but it's an anthology, so you know how it goes. But guys, Christmas month, it's officially started. Let's go!